Feasibility report is one of the most important components of telecom license application in Nigeria. If you get it right, you avoid so many back and forth, and one can guarantee that all important approval you have been looking for. If you get it wrong, you face so many delays, and the chances are your application could be rejected. Hi guys, Hamis here, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to discuss the ultimate guide to writing a winning feasibility report for telecommunication license application in Nigeria. This crucial document, alongside other requirements, need to be submitted to the Nigerian Communications Commission as part of the licensing application process. Today we are going to provide you with tips, guides, and do's and don'ts to make sure that your feasibility reports meet NCC standards. One thing worth mentioning is that this tutorial is sponsored by Interverse Communications. Interverse is a premier communication solutions provider based in Abuja, Nigeria. They provide special numbering services comprising 0800 toll-free and 0700 vanity lines. They also provide bulk messaging services alongside expert telecom guidance and consultancy services. So if you want to write a feasibility report or want to apply for license, I will leave a link in the description. You can get in touch with them, as they have done it for many companies and they have track record of success. So guys, let's dive into the topic of the day. I would recommend following the headers outlined by NCC, and you will kind of take them one by one so that you can develop your content under each header. The best approach is to use the application form, whether online or the physical one that we have been using before, because prior we use a kind of paper application. But currently NCC is gravitating towards digitizing the process, making it easy and seamless, online process. So online you don't have to spend money, printing your document, because come to think of it, you are going to submit 3 copies of all the documents that that NCC says you should submit. These are your feasibility report, which could be more than 20 pages. Depending on the license you're applying for, your evidence of funding, your banks, your company documents. Some company documents, just the memo and the status report can be close to 100 pages. Imagine printing them times 3. So you are talking about a rim. So by making the process online, it makes sense and save a lot of resources, especially with the rising cost of supplies. So what I'm trying to say is you follow the points outlined by NCC, and by doing that you can try to develop your facts under each point outlined. There are 12 points, as you can see from here. This is the application form that we have been using. Let me go to the front page. You can see this is a front page individual license application form. This you can download from NCC website. When you navigate here, you can navigate from licensing. On the home page, you go to licensing and regulations. Then you come to licensing and authorization. Then you go into licensing process. You come down to application forms. Here, when you click, you'll be able to download the form. So this is the form we are discussing about. And when you go down to item 6 of the documents of the form. By the way, I was talking about the document you are supposed to submit. Look at them. So they are really much. The memorandum, the certificate, anything about your company. Even the profile of your executives or your company, management, have to include it. So we are going to, anyway, don't worry, I'm going to develop a kind of a tutorial on how to apply for NCC license. After you have your feasibility report, what you need to do to have a perfect application and to get your application approved within the time frame specified by NCC. So here are the points that you need to nail. You need to develop your content under each of the points. There are 2 points here from A to L, and number 1 is a business and market analysis. So I'm going to treat each point one by one and give you an idea what you need to put under, how you need to develop your content and make your presentation under that. First is business and market analysis, as I said. So what the commission here wants from my own experience is that you need to develop a kind of an overview of the market you're trying to go into in relation to the license you're applying for. For example, if you are applying for a value-added services license using shortcode, so here you are specifically talking about so many type of services you can render, so you can narrow it down to possibly a caller tune or bulk messaging services. So if you take bulk messaging, you can give an overview of bulk messaging services, the market, the A2P, meaning application to person. What are what's the history, what is obtainable. You can start by giving a kind of a broader view, that's world view, the global view, the kind of the volume of it. Maybe you can drill down to the continent level, then you can cascade down to Nigeria. Talk about the volume, talk about the trends, how is it being accepted, what are the industry using it, you understand. Just to develop a content, you define it, you define how it comes to be, how is it becoming very indispensable, in terms of customer reach, you understand. So you can use this example to develop your content on any kind of license, in relation to the market you are trying to go. And another thing that you need to do, you also have to use maybe figures here in order to illustrate your points. And figures, I mean, you can, while doing market analysis, you can go to NCC website by navigating to the industry statistic page. Industry statistic, you can access it when you go to the website. You come to statistics and reports. Then you can click on industry statistics. So here you can see subscriber teledensity data, which is uploaded by NCC. You can see the market share by operators. You can see the market share by generation in terms of maybe the age group, and you can see the internet in terms of broadband penetrations. There are a lot of information you can use that relates to your own license or industry you are going to develop your fact. You can also pick any of these graphs or to illustrate. You can use it in many ways. And when you go to the you can use articles, newspaper articles, publications and all that to portray your points. And one thing you need to also know, that anything you use, you have to back it up at the reference section, because if you write feasibility report without reference, definitely it's not going to fly, because we have to show, even if you pick this information from NCC website, you have to state the NCC website, the reports, you have to reference it. If you use any newspaper or any publication, you have to reference it accordingly and give credit to those that develop the content. Yeah, okay, that's for the business and market analysis. Then on the detailed description of the proposed service, here you have to, which is point number 2, detailed description of the proposed service. Here you have to define and describe the service you are going to. Like I made example of caller tune or bulk messaging. If you are going into value-added services and you want to delve into bulk messaging services, that's A2P. You have to define what it is. You have to describe how it is being run, who use it, how it's being delivered, what are the advantages, who are your target market, the industry that use it the most. Those are the things that you need to also give a kind of you need to give holistic view and give justice to how it's being done, what is the service about. Then moving on to the point number 3, which is point C, that's technical layout and system description. Before I go to that technical layout, I wanted to portray one thing on the detailed description of service, proposed service. You need to pinpoint the gap, because if you cannot pinpoint the gap, there's no justification for you coming into the market. You have to state to NCC why you want to come in, and this is the reason why, because you have seen a gap that's been left by the existing players or providers, and you want to fill it in. And this is how you intend to fill it in, by delivering the service this way. This is very important point. I wanted to leave it in the tips section that I wanted to give you at the end of the tutorial, the tips and guides that are two that I will give you that are very, very important for you to pay attention to, but I have to just release it here. So going to number 3, that's point C, technical layout and systems description. This here we are talking about the network design. So when you have to design the network, get an expert. If you are not good in designing the network, if you don't know where to place the nodes, you have to design it. You have to show where is your POP or point of presence. That's which data center are you using, how are you going to reach the MNOs, that's mobile network operators, at what point, what are the connectivity method you are using. Are you using satellite, you are using radio, you are using fiber? You have to state it in the network design. You have to pinpoint the nodes that's you are using. You have to show the traffic flow from one direction to another. You have to show the redundancy, how you intend to support your network in terms of failure. That's 1+1. This point is very key as well. So here I'm going to give you a kind of example of a design we did for one feasibility report. Actually, we wrote for a particular company. This is a sample network design. You can see the mobile network operators here. You can see where the network this is for a PNL, but this is not necessarily going to fly for any network. I'm just showing you a typical how it's going to be, because NCC has seen this. If you try to use this, basically they are going to say, okay, where did you get this? Just the same thing I mentioned about referencing and copyright. You have to be careful. So this is how you're going to do it. You have to show the switch that are using physical or soft switch. Are you going on the cloud, or you are using physical hosting? You have to show that your data center, your redundancy, these are points that you need to portray. Moving on to the next point, which is meet frequency requirement. So some services basically require frequency to operate, some do not. You have to determine if the service you are going to provide requires frequency. You have to state that to NCC, and you have to also state what frequency they require. There's money to be paid for any frequency you ask for, so you have to make this clear to NCC so that you can be assisted accordingly. Some services like ISP, may require frequency, even the free ISM band. You don't need to go for paid frequency. So it depends on you and how you intend to do it, and who are the guys assisting you in building your feasibility, how you intend to make your delivery. Moving on to the point number 5, which is metering and billing system. Here the commission wants you to state the billing system you are using. What is the billing system? How do you intend to bill the customers? What's the time period you state in? Is it monthly? Is it weekly? How do you intend to deliver their invoices? The reconciliation is how's it been done? This is just to show how you are going to be transparent with your customers, and how you are going to assist them in making sure that whatever they use is detailed, explained in their bills, whatever, depending on the period you choose. Point number 6, which is the proposed grade of service. This point basically is just about telling this commission that you intend to deliver excellent quality service, excellent service with grade 1 quality, CLI if you're using voice, all this grammar that you have to put in, just to state it yourself, because we all know that you're not going to say you are going to provide poor quality of service to your subscribers, but you just have to admit what actually you are going to do. Moving into point number 6, which is proposed code of practice. That's compensation for loss of service. Here, you need to state how you intend to compensate the customer's in the event of failure, downtime, or loss of service. So you have to be very clear and deliberate in your SLA. Probably you have to put in your SLA there. You have to show the level of availability you are committed to. If it's 9%, 90%, what is the compensation level if your service availability fall below the 90% you're already committed to the customers. So this is meant to protect subscribers, so that you don't just ride on them and provide the services, which is shambolic and they're unsteady, and at the end of the day they are not getting the service, the value for the money they paid for. So this is enforced and very emphasized by the Consumer Protection Council as well as the NCC itself. You have to do that. Probably you might need the guidance of your lawyer in drafting this, because after you get the service, I think you have to publish the code of practice that you send to NCC 2 months or 3 months after you start your service. That's very compulsory. And you have to place it at the kind of place that's visible on the entrance of your office or your stores or whatever outlet you are using. Then going to point number 7, which is implementation schedule and growth plan. Here you have to state the schedules you intend to pass through before you get to your rollout of your service. Probably if you intend to deploy your network or your service in 6 months, you have to state first month, what are you going to do? Is it about staffing? Is it about acquiring the license, getting an office space? Then 2, you want to buy equipment. 3, you need to get cross-connected with the mobile network operators. All these things has to be really very clear to NCC. And how do you intend to expand if your business starts to blossom? And probably you would like to expand your rollout from one town to another or from one region to another. This you have to state. Moving to point number 8 is implementation. Is the location and coverage of service. It's worth mentioning under this point that we should know that some licenses allowed you to operate within a certain geographical region, within a particular state, or So it's not all licenses that give you the right to operate nationwide. So you have to state where you want to operate if your license give you, so that NCC can know if you have the right to, and your license give you the privilege to operate within that coverage area. Then point number 9, moving on to point number 9, which is proposed community service obligation. Here you have to state to the Commission what are your corporate service responsibility, initiative, and strategy. How do you intend to help and impact positively on the host community? How do you intend to help? What is it going to be? Scholarship? Is it going to be kind of some developmental projects? These are the things you need to state here. Point number 11, which is the ownership, organization, and management structure, including staffing and training. Here you have to state your organizational ownership. Who owns the organization? Who are the management? Probably you might have to draw the organogram and just a simple organizational structure. You put the CEO and the top exec. You have to pinpoint them. The managers. As well as you can scale down. It depends on how really you intend to put it, but it shouldn't be that complex. Try to make it very simple. And you never go wrong on this. Then you have to talk about the staffing and the training, how you intend to develop your staff, so we can know whether you really care about developing those who really help you prosper. It's not just about you. Then the final point, which is financial projection, including fundamental assumptions, tariff structure, profit and loss, cash flow. You have to talk about the growth plan. You have to talk about how you intend to what are the cash flow statements. the project financial, arrangement that you have, the profit and loss account. Usually you have to give this for 5 years projection for any of these points that you have stated. You know the expense table, what are these expenses, where are the expenditure, whether all these things, financials, you have to do it, you have to state it, and NCC is very curious to know what these things are, so you have to be really careful in drafting that. Guys, we have come to the end of the points, and I think we have done justice to end each of these points that you need to develop contents on there. And now it's time for tips and guides, what important tips I give you. One thing I would like to mention is that you need to write a header and develop some contents that is called budgeted amount. You have to. It's not written here, but really NCC will ask you where is the budgeted amount. So you have to write budgeted amount. Find somewhere within this, put in budgeted amount there. The equipment, any equipment you are going to list here, either in your network design or within the feasibility report, you have to make sure that it's type approved. In type approval, you can, if you want to do that, you can go to NCC website. You can go to technical regulations. You go to technical standard, then you can see type approval. So under this type approval, when you click it, you come to this page. Here you can navigate through and check all the equipment that NCC type approved. Otherwise, you are going to have a kind of challenge getting your approval done. And the final tips I'm going to give you is that you need to use visuals. It's very important, especially when you come to the financial projection and the assumptions, cash flow projection. You need to use visuals that are really good. It's easy. People don't hardly read through. They felt when you have pictures, they convey a lot of explanations. They tell a lot of things as opposed to reading through text. So use visuals, use graphs, use any pie chart, bar chart, just to buttress your points. It's very, very key. And another thing is you don't need to follow this order. You can organize your headers, based on how you think it fits the most. Anything financial, usually I bring the ownership and structure the last. Ownership, organizational, and management structure, I bring it to last. Then you have to do that. And please make sure that you do your code of practice right. Guys, for now I think that's it. And like I mentioned earlier, we have gone through the points. We are giving you the guides how you're going to do it. God grace, we are going to develop another tutorial on how to make a NCC license application. Like I said, NCC is gravitating toward digitizing the process. I think most of the applications now goes through online platform, their online portal. So we're going to guide you how to do that, how to navigate the portal, what documents you need aside the feasibility report. What are the important documents? How do you do it and get that approval without any back and forth? Hi guys, now you have it. We have taken you through the do's and don'ts and the guides, that what you need to do to make sure that your feasibility reports meet NCC standards and you get that approval for license that you're really looking for. If you find this video helpful in any way, please give us a thumb up. Make sure you hit the bell icon and like the video. And more importantly, we would like to hear from you. What is your experience, writing a feasibility report and submitting an application to NCC? What is the query raised? How have you responded? What we covered today, is it going to help you in any way in writing your feasibility report? If you have any question also, you can leave it in the comment sections. And make sure you please reconnect with us in the next video. And thank you for watching. Until then, it's goodbye.